Hello and welcome to another episode of Miners of the Nexus. I'm Bartok
Welcome.
Germs and I'm here with Rastral,
Hello.
Tapion,
Yo yo.
Dengonzo,
Hello.
and the Bloody Rain. Somebody take care of that, please. So we're here at the God Tree, or the big tree. I don't know. God Tree sounds more impressive. And we're gonna start with the roots and the branches today. I'd just like to say thank you for the feedback we got in the last video. Very, very positive comments. Thanks. Yeah, so I think Tapion and myself are going to start with the branches, and then Gonzo and Rastral are going to work on the roots. And Frodo's Foot, I think, is over there in the tower somewhere, and he's being lectured by the Elder. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, so let's get going. Tapion and myself are working on this big fat branch over here. We're gonna jut it up towards the sky in a diagonal fashion in that direction over there. And we've decided to have two branches at the top of the tree. So we're gonna have one here and one over here jutting in the direction of the tower. The way we set out the shape is that you first start with a mapping out here like this. It's marked out here. And then you start building up. So I've started with this bit, and then you just bring it up like this, following the shape of the previous marking. So now the next one would go here. I always try and make it organic by not always having the same step. So you don't see like steps. You always see like this organic rounded shape here. I've also decided.
There's two ways of doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's two ways of doing that. Like, check my side out. I've done it completely stairs. See, check it out from the bottom.
Alright, one sec. Where's yours?
Right here. See, if you see it from the bottom, it's all completely staired.
Yeah.
But then you come to the outside, and post having finished it, then I just add little jetting out bits and sidewards blocks and whatnot.
Yeah. Just to make it
give that
natural.
Organic feel.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that we've decided to have, well, I've decided to have the blocks in different directions on the branches to differentiate it from the actual log. So it looks different. This looks smooth and this looks more branchy. That would look like the little twigs sticking out of the tree and so on and so forth, which we will add on later anyway, so you will see that later on. Now we have the jutting out part of this branch done, and we're going to start with the other branch that would jut in the other direction. So now that we've established the shape of this branch, like we did earlier with a circle, I've jutted out the direction where the branch is going to go, so it's easier to work around. So just build it up like this randomly until you have a nice shape you're happy with. Look from a distance so you can get a visual on roughly how it's going to look. I think it's got to be straight at the end, so I've done that, and now I'm going to bring it slightly more this way, a few more blocks that way. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. What do you think, Tapion? Tabs?
Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, so now what we have to do is work.
Need to go a bit further out, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how far out once we start building it. But now what we have to do is build on the side of it. So keeping to the shape, you build out like this. That is branch number 2, and we've also added a smaller branch jutting out from the side here because it looked too flat on this side, so we've added that. And as you can see from the top view, it's heading off into two directions now, off the center there. And up here we're going to add a branch going further up. So that's what we're going to do now. This branch here, as you can see, will go pretty much straight. And from it we'll have smaller branches. Now I'm here with Dengonzo. He's finishing off one of his roots. And it's looking quite nice. Very chunky. We were having problems originally because we were making them too small, like that one over there. And it wasn't looking like it was supporting any weight, even though some roots don't support weight. It's just to, like Dengonzo pointed out, to get the water. As you can see, this one is making its way to have a nice tasty drink of pond here, lake. And
Yep. Looking for the water.
yeah, searching for the water. That's what roots do best. And the only issue I was having, or we were having, was that they don't seem to be parts of the tree. They seem to be too randomly jutting out of the tree there. As you can see, they just look like limbs, like legs. And I wasn't sure what we were doing wrong, but I think I've hit on the key. And that would be that some of the roots would actually have to be under the earth, because those would be the ones holding onto the ground. So I've started here, as you can see. Ignore the red wool for now. I've started here making a root that would actually go down into the ground all the way, like the thick part of the root. And the red wool is the pattern it is following. So I've mapped it out with red wool, and this is the pattern the root will be following. You see the snake shape I've done there? So it would stick out from this part of the tree, it would flow down, around, and into the ground there. And now what I'm going to do, or what I've started doing here, is building around it with wood, so it looks thicker. So I shall get cracking on that, and let's see how it's going to look once we're done. As you can see here, I've almost closed off the entire area of this root. I'm just tidying it up around, and I've left it open so you guys can see how it looks. I think the way it looks best is the parts facing us, like the flat bits, to do it with the logs facing down, and the parts that are going across, like the top bits, to have the logs going that way. That way it kind of looks more, it makes the eye follow the flow of the roots, I think, better. In the way that Rastral has done it here on his as well. The top one's like that, and then the bottom one's going down. And as you can see, with this root that I'm doing here, it suddenly makes Rastral's root look a lot more natural and a lot more grounded. Well, I think so anyway. So there you see it, closed off entirely, and I think it's making the whole tree as a whole from a distance look a lot nicer. So I'm just going to have to add a few more of those all around the tree to finish it off, and I shall get back to you once that is done. Another thing that will add a lot of realism to your tree, or make it look more grounded, is giving the impression of there being a root, or the end of a root. So I do this by setting where I want the root to begin, which would be here in this case. Marking it all the way around the tree, as such. And then placing one block around like this. Doesn't have to be one block, it can be 2 blocks or 3 if you want to make it look more natural. See, so you can place 2. And the idea is to go up and not make it look like stairs, to make it look like a gradual slant, a gradual slope all the way up. As you can see there, that adds the impression of the slant at the bottom of the tree, and it makes it look a lot more natural. So I'm just gonna finish that off all around the tree and add some more roots, and that should just give the finishing touches at the bottom of the tree.
So over here, as you see before, we had quite a stumpy-looking branch. What both me and Rastral have been doing is basically tapering it off a bit and trying to get a more natural feel with twists and curves and stuff. That's what I've done one to the left or to the right, depending on what way you're looking, and Rastral has done one upwards. Now it's a matter of trimming and adding extra branches, stuff like that, and then we'll obviously put the foliage and whatnot.
Cool. Can I point something out of what you've done? I'm not sure if you're going to agree with me, but as I was telling Dengonzo before at the bottom with his roots, is that when you add a corner like this, like you have here, it looks more like a pipe, like a tube.
Organic.
Sorry?
Organic.
No, it looks more like a tube this way. So if you remove this block, it looks more natural, but it looks very fragile, very flimsy there in the corner. So if you add a block there instead of in the corner, it gives it the rounded look, and it doesn't look as straight, as angular. Do you agree?
Cool.
The same here. So this one, I would remove that block, and maybe add a couple of blocks there.
Cool beans.
Cool. Tapion has pointed out to me that the weight of the tree is on that side there, on the left. So here on the right, there'd be more of a uprooting, or bigger branches holding up the tree. So the weight would be pulling down on that side. As you can see, the shape of the tree if you follow it down that way, this would be a big root sticking out of the ground here. So I've set up the shape and I'm going to fill that in.
Okay, so this is the next phase of building this branch. So we did the stump, then we taped it off, and now we are bulking it up with these little branches. What did you just do?
I took the
Nibbled
corner off.
on my branch.
Yeah, sorry. Perfectionist.
It's okay. I was thinking, I mean, this is completely different to any other build that we've done because, I mean, we're very, some of us even more so, like symmetrical, and this has to be, this has to be, you know, squared. This has to be exactly the same on the other side. It has to be a complete mirror image, and this is the opposite. This is the more you know, round or weird shapes that you've got, the more natural it looks.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's a shift in thinking.
It's a challenge.
But so once we've done all these different small branches, and we'll fit them in with leaves and stuff, so it starts looking better. Right now it looks like a dead tree.
Yeah, but it looks like a tree, and that's what's important. It's finally starting to look more like a tree and less like a statue.
Or like a lump of poo.
Yeah, big chunk of dookie. So I'm up here at the top of the tree again with Rastro. Him and Dapion have finished with the branches. So yeah, what do we have here?
We have an awful lot of branches jutting out from every direction, and it's pretty much it. Now we're gonna have to start placing the leaves on top. We're not exactly sure how we're gonna do this yet, so we're not exactly sure how it's gonna look on the different branches. So we might have to add different branches later on.
Yeah.
All in all, we're not exactly sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of trial and error now, trying to get the look of the grass, the leaves proper. And once we have that, we'll give you some updates. The roots are almost done as well. I'll show you that now in a second. And now the roots are also complete. As you can see from a distance, it's looking pretty awesome, with the top part with its branches and the roots. Looks like a dead tree at the moment because it has no leaves, which is what we're going to work on next. But as you can see, the roots they give it that finishing look. It's now attached to the ground. It doesn't look randomly jutting out anymore. So I hope you have enjoyed that episode. Even though we're not finished yet, you can see that this tree is looking mighty nice. It's quite an ambitious project, so bear with us, but we'll be finished probably with a tree either next week or the week after that. We're aiming to have no more than 2 more episodes. So yeah, I hope you like that. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, let us know what you think, and we shall see you again next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.